In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on October 8, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Baltimore Ravens versus Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers will try to knock the Baltimore Ravens out of first place in the American Football Conference North this weekend. The American Football Conference North rivals face off in the first of 2 games this season. They split the series last season, although Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson was absent in both bouts. The Ravens are 3-1 early and have a 3-1 record against the spread. Pittsburgh is sporting a 2-2 record and is 2-2 against the spread. Old rivals square off in Pittsburgh on Sunday, and right now it feels like these 2 teams are going in opposite directions. Baltimore runs the ball more than any other team in the NFL, and it's working. It is top 5 in rushing yards per game. Lamar Jackson is clearly starting to find his form in Todd Monken's new offense too. Despite operating a new offense with many unfamiliar weapons, Jackson has the Ravens as a top 10 passing unit in yards per pass and interceptions thrown. Even better, Jackson owns the 2nd best completion percentage in the league. This is an offense that's gaining steam, and although their statistics don't jump off the page last weekend, the Browns came into Week 4 as clearly one of the most elite defenses in the NFL. Consider me impressed. Baltimore won last Sunday, but it's worth noting that it faced a rookie quarterback in his very first regular season start in the NFL. Dorian Thompson-Robinson threw 3 interceptions en route to a 28-3 Baltimore win, all but gifting a victory for the away team. The reality is that the Ravens might not face a more potent offense this week either. NFL analysts across the country are sounding off on Steelers offensive coordinator Matt Canada once again, but Mike Tomlin has been clear that he's not making a change at play caller just yet. Whatever the Steelers are going to do to make a change, they need to do it fast. Pittsburgh got railed by a rookie coach and first-year quarterback last week, getting outgained 451-225 and only scoring 6 points in the process. Kenny Pickett, who incurred a knee injury during the game on a terrible pass play on 4th and 1, only gained 114 yards through the air. He is attempting to practice this week, but it doesn't look great. Mitch Trubisky would take his place if need be. In what should be an ugly affair, despite how poorly Pittsburgh has played, it tends to get up for these games. The last 5 battles have ended with an average margin of 3 points per game, so the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Many rivalries have changed in the NFL, but this one has not. The Steelers-Ravens series has been historically hard-hitting for the good part of 2 decades, perhaps made the most notorious when monsters like Ray Lewis and James Harrison occupied the field. This season should present more of the same, especially because the Steelers' defense will be even more reliant on defensive success than usual. We know that Kenny Pickett is attempting to practice this week, according to reports. We also know that Pickett hasn't exactly thrived in Matt Canada's offense, as his mediocre 803 yards and 4 interceptions indicates. In any case, if Pickett cannot assume the starting role, Mitch Trubisky will take the reins. Trubisky hasn't played in a real NFL game since mid-December last year, so I can't imagine that the Pittsburgh offense will be suddenly fluid in the first 2 quarters. In fact, I expect the contrary. The Ravens' offense has been impressive, but it hasn't shown enough to be given a vote of confidence just yet. Although they played well against Cleveland, the Browns were second-handed and playing catch-up all game. That would free any offense. The Ravens also stumbled against the Colts. No doubt they thrived in Week 2, but the Bengals have been underwhelming basically all season long. Baltimore's offense is familiar to and has never overwhelmed the Steelers' defense, and this is typically where elite players like TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith make huge plays. It won't be easy for the Ravens to eclipse 20 points. When these 2 teams meet, it is nearly always a low-scoring rock fight. Last year they split 2 games and the scores were 16-13 and 16-14. The previous year it was 16-14 in overtime and 20-19. So in 4 games, the games were decided by a total of 8 points. All of these games ended well below the total set for this game. In fact, the last 5 head-to-head meetings between these 2 finished under the total. The last 5 games between these two old-school American Football Conference North squads haven't surpassed 40 points. I don't think this one will get close. The team with the better offense has plenty of defense to stymie the other, while the black and yellow will need their defense to hold them afloat at this rate. The most predictable thing about this game is that it won't be very flamboyant. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Cincinnati Bengals versus Arizona Cardinals. Although we didn't expect both of these teams to have a 1-3 record at this point in the season, here we are. The struggling Cincinnati Bengals will take on the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday in the University of Phoenix Stadium. Arizona was projected to be one of the worst teams in the league, and although they are 1-3, they have put up a fight in a couple games and even defeated the Dallas Cowboys already. Meanwhile, the Bengals have started out sluggish with a 1-3 record. A defeat here would be the appropriate time to hit the panic button. Last Wednesday, the Bengals were as high as 8.5-point chalk. Now they are all the way down to just 3-point favorites. We all know why. Few would have predicted how far our perceptions would shift on these two teams. The Cardinals had the lowest win total of any NFL team heading into the season, and many suspected they would opt for a rebuilding year under new coach Jonathan Gannon. Shallow at many skill positions and without star quarterback Kyler Murray, forecasting Arizona's season felt overly simple. We all said they just won't be very good. But since week 1, Gannon and his new team are proving that they're anything but a simple handicap. They have fought hard in every game, covering 3 out of 4 of their spreads, and they beat a Super Bowl contender at home in Week 3. Josh Dobbs and a try-hard defense have been very competitive, and now they take their spirits back home to host a Cincinnati Bengals team that's stumbling fast. In Week 3, many thought Joe Burrow and the Bengals were back. Following 2 losses to open the season, an impressive defensive performance and some Burrow magic was enough to beat the Rams at home and finally snag a win. Then they were favorites in Week 4 at Tennessee and got correspondingly annihilated by Mike Vrabel's defense. In totality, the Bengals just haven't looked like the same team that went deep into the American Football Conference playoffs the last 2 seasons. Burrow has looked stagnant in the pocket, still fending off an ankle injury, while the Bengals' defense has been very inconsistent. The Cincinnati Bengals are better than seen so far, and I expect them to try and rebound in this one. This is already a game the Bengals have to win or their chances of reaching the playoffs begin to diminish significantly. Arizona lost by 19 points to the 49ers and has just 1 win on the season. Joe Burrow had another week to rest his calf, and this is a great matchup for him to have his best game of the season. The Cardinals have a weak pass defense that ranks 24th in the NFL. Furthermore, the Arizona offense has already been held to 16 points on 2 occasions this season. Josh Dobbs has been decent at quarterback, but he is just filling in for the injured Murray. He has recorded 228 or fewer passing yards in 3 of 4 games this season. The Bengals have a strong pass defense that ranks 14th. The Bengals were able to hold Stafford to a 54% completion efficiency and should be able to contain Dobbs, leading to a convincing victory. This is essentially Cincinnati's last chance to maintain a competitive attitude toward a division title, as the Ravens look formidable despite all their injuries. While Arizona has been slightly better than the public has expected, I still believe in the talents of Burrow, Chase, Mixon, and co. to carry this team to a victory. Arizona's defense as a whole has been subpar, and this is the perfect chance for the Bengals to take advantage. Cincinnati should look to run the ball with Mixon to tire out the defense and take the pressure off the offensive line and control the game. Should they be successful, they should be able to take the victory convincingly. However, this is their last chance before people will hit the panic button on them. Still, this is one of those situations where we need to close our eyes and execute a wager that makes us very uncomfortable. This is still a team that's been through high-pressure games and proven they can be incredibly impressive in such spots. The Cincinnati franchise already finds itself on the brink of a season that could go haywire, and eventually the Cardinals should experience some negative regression. I like Burrow and the gang to answer. Cincinnati has yet to win a road game this season, but I have faith they will pull themselves together this Sunday. So the Cincinnati Bengals to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Bengals offense is mustering an unimpressive 12 points per game, good for 31st in the NFL, and Joe Burrow continues to work through an ankle injury. Reflecting on the Bengals' best game of the season, a Week 3 win against the Rams, their best unit was their defense. Sam Hubbard and a motivated front 7 sacked quarterback Matthew Stafford 6 times and made 2 interceptions. Burrow had his best passing game of the year, accumulating 259 yards and a touchdown. but the Bengals produced very few explosive plays and only 67 total yards on the ground. Right now it looks like Cincinnati can only win through a max defensive effort, and I expect more of the same against Josh Dobbs and a frisky Arizona offense on Sunday. Twitter trolls and analysts alike were making fun of Jonathan Gannon's apparent lack of charisma before the season, but the former Eagles defensive coordinator is showing he might be a better head coach than many assumed. We see proof of that in his team's effort on both sides of the ball. We especially see it on defense. The statistics might suggest otherwise, but the Cardinals have faced 3 talented offenses and their defense made big plays in every game. Well, the 49ers ran a train over Arizona eventually, but right now San Francisco is doing that to everyone. Gannon's defense struggles to get off the field. It is 30th in opponent third down conversion rate, but the ability to garner pressure will be the Bengals' biggest liability on offense. Arizona is 11th in sack percentage and will look to bother a less than 100% Burrow for 4 quarters. The Cardinals' defense is respectable enough to assume that Burrow's offense probably won't suddenly take off in Week 5, and I trust the Bengals' defense to step up in a big spot once again. This number is a bit too high, under the projected total as our full game total pick. Philadelphia Eagles versus Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams will play host to the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. The Eagles squeaked one out at home in overtime against the Commanders, while the Rams also secured a win in extra time. We have an interesting matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles on Sunday. The Eagles are entering this game at 4-0, but they were only just able to stay undefeated against the Commanders last week, winning 34-31 in overtime. The Rams are 2-2, but are an impressive 4-0 against the spread this season. The Eagles have one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, led by dual-threat quarterback Jalen Hurts and one of the best receiving duos in the league in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. The Eagles are also one of the best rushing teams in the league. They have rushed for over 600 yards, which ranks second in the NFL. This will be the Rams' toughest test this season, and they could struggle on defense. Hurts has a chance to pick apart the Rams' secondary and have a big game through the air. The Rams' offense has generally been struggling to run the football this year, averaging 3.7 yards per carry, and they rely heavily on quarterback Matthew Stafford and the passing game to get the offense going. They have passed for the second most passing yards per game, but Stafford has thrown 5 interceptions already and could be forced into mistakes by the fierce Eagles pass rush. The Eagles had to fight for a win last week, but I think that humbling lesson will pay off in Week 5 against a dangerous Rams team. Philadelphia hasn't been beating teams like it should, covering in only 2 of its first 4 games. That shouldn't be alarming, though, with Hurts under center. The Eagles quarterback, who has battled his way to NFL stardom as an overlooked second-round pick, is the leading voice in a Super Bowl-caliber locker room. He'll rally the troops this week, making sure everyone is held accountable for their play. I won't be shocked if Philadelphia plays its most complete game to date, taking advantage of the Rams' mediocre run defense and poor red zone defense. The Eagles' defense has taken a lot of criticism for its play, but that should change against Los Angeles. Both quarterback Matt Stafford and running back Kyren Williams are dealing with hip injuries, which will limit their performances this week. Expect Philadelphia to get in as many hits as it can on the Los Angeles signal caller, putting too much weight on Williams' shoulders to overcompensate on the ground. The Eagles have not defended the pass well, but they're rock solid against the run. A consistent pass rush would greatly benefit their pass defense. The Eagles just keep finding ways to win, and I'm just not a fan of the Rams and this patchwork roster they have put together, especially on defense around Aaron Donald. The offense has been decent and Puka Nacua is a diamond in the rough, but I think this is a game where the Eagles have no problem flexing their muscle and winning this by at least a touchdown. I expect the Eagles offense to have a big day and prove too much for the Rams to stop. So the Philadelphia Eagles to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Los Angeles Rams pass offense has been lethal to start the season, and the Philadelphia Eagles pass defense has allowed the 5th most passing yards per game. They have been struggling stopping the pass, and that should give Rams quarterback Matt Stafford the chance to air it out to standout rookie wide receiver Puka Nacua. The Eagles offense is capable of scoring on anyone. They are averaging 29.5 points per game to start the season, and that ranks 5th best in the NFL. They have one of the most dynamic offenses in the league and can beat teams both through the air and on the ground. These offenses have the potential to score often, and the defenses have been underwhelming. The Rams struggled to hold on to a comfortable lead last week against the Colts. How will they fare against Philadelphia's top 5 offense? The Eagles will use their ground game to open up the pass, taking advantage of a Rams secondary that has only 1 interception this season. The Eagles' defense has been stout against the run but hasn't fared well against the pass. That's likely to be troublesome against Los Angeles' second-ranked passing offense, even if Stafford isn't 100% healthy. The gritty veteran showed he could handle the pain last week, battling through his hip injury to lead the Rams on a long touchdown drive in overtime. The Eagles' defense has been less than stellar this season, and the precise passing attack from Stafford should be able to move the ball. The Rams sit top 10 in red zone success, and both of these defenses sit bottom 5 in opponent red zone success. Likewise, the Rams have struggled defending the run, and the mobility of Hurts should allow the Eagles to move the sticks on multiple occasions. I expect both offenses to find paths to scoring, as the Eagles' pass defense has struggled and the Rams' run defense has struggled, each offense's respective strength. I expect the Eagles to have their way against the Rams' defense and do most of the scoring. In a battle between two offenses who can score a lot of points, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.